For this small companies analyze, I will go to do offering a takeaway service company, which means they will offering takeaway service. You only need to use your smartphone to take an order, and then this company's name called Get Your Food Company. Well, for this part, we will actually from using 5 analyze theory to help us to understand their situation and their how to make sure they can get a real pay from this market. And at the final, we will get some suggestion for this company to help them become better than now. At the beginning, we will talk about their mission, vision, and their aims. For their mission, this company the Get Your Fruit company want to become the most famous takeaway service company in southern of China because their head capital, their main address in the southern of China. That's the big. That's a really important thing because they want to begin from that area to become more huge. That's why their vision is make all the Chinese people can rely on their application in their daily life. For now, their aims are make sure all your items can arriving at in 30 minutes. That's a pretty good aims, I think, and can be really easy to make sure to ensure it can be satisfied. And now, let's talk about the nowadays situation by using the pastel analyze. Well, for the pastel analyze, we all know this means 6 elemental in the marketing, and it can help you to understand the situation, the macro marketing situation for this company. First is political things. And for the political things in the China, they get many of things are really important, but for some part are really attractive with this company, which is in the China we lack of well labor security and insurance system for the labor force. So which means most of companies using the low price to offer to hire to employ some labor force, but do not offer some security, protect some insurance that is protect for them, and it's not really good, I think. And then about the economy side, we usually know we get some data about the average pay for the Chinese people in Southern. They usually get paid every month 5,000 every month, and it's a Chinese yuan, of course. But when they normally were using for each of times eating food about less than 40 yuan. But when they using those takeaway service, it's usually less than 40 yuan. That's really interesting things. And for the social element, most workers will they usually around 20 years old to 30 years old. Those workers usually do some out time worker until 8 p.m. It actually means they do not have many time to cook food for themselves or take some food with their parents or children or their family. So that's why the takeaway service are really good in China and really important for their daily life. For the technology change, we know the smartphone become really popular nowadays, and over than 16% of Chinese people have had a smartphone to use and they know how to use, which means they know how to use the application to get the order, to get the takeaway service by their smartphone. And the other side, Alipay and WeChat Pay offer a high security and stable e-payment system to make they do not have to pay by the cash or using their card. They can just pay using their phone to finish all things. And for environmental elements, those takeaway service in China, they usually use some electronic bike to take away or using bicycle, because many of people will get the order by those delivery men. You can get an order by them smartphone and they just use their wine to take away to all the customers. So they only need to use the electronic facilities. Electronic motor are really enough to them. This kind of motor are environment friendly, so that's why it's really popular. For the legal system, actually those small electronic motor, even for the small motor, they do not need any lessons. In China, they can just drive without lessons. So it's a kind of things means everyone can drive. That's why it's really easy to develop this kind of takeaway service in China. And then we need to, for the 5 force analyze it means to consider about their threats of new entrants and threats of submissions like that, and consider about is that stable or unstable for the company development. For this industry, this takeaway service industry, it's not really easy to accessible because it required many of labor force and or for them to the rider to can ride on the electronic motor or the bicycle to transport those goods. It's the first things, and they need many of corporation, local food company or local restaurant to offer the menu to their customer. That's the two. For the substance, they're usually out of time. The substance should be the telephone call takeaway service, a website takeaway service. It's out of time, so I don't think it's a really big spread for this company's development. But in the other side, those customers are really sensitive with the price change, because usually people only need to pay 20 or 30 Chinese yuan can get one menu to make them become not hungry. That's enough. So if some menu are over than this price, they will know and really high sensitive for that. For the supplier area, all these local restaurants, supermarkets, or even for the food factory can be their supplier, because they just deliver this food. They only need to get using low price to deliver is enough. So we do not have to really worry about supplier problem, like if someone do not offer their goods again, we cannot running our business. We cannot running our business. So they do not have to worry about this problem. And the last problem, the cafeteria. Generally, we talk about this area in China. We will talk about the other two companies, ELE.me and Meituan. These two companies get the 80% of the whole market share in company in this area, and most of people, they all know, and they usually use these two applications take a order to get their takeaway service. So this company should consider about how to get the stress and how to ensure they can running with make them different with these two companies. They are too similar. If they just follow the step, it means they can never be a next successful business company. And for the value chain, they get three main value chain. The one in the human resource area, they using low price labor first and huge number of low price labor first, because in China labor first are not really expensive resource for them. And the second one, they provide large number of customers follows and order to the local restaurant and food industry to get the contact, to get the discount. They get a contact which they offer the customer source. Those food company and restaurants gave the discount to the company. And third is the biggest and stable one is when people using the application, they need to save the money to the application by the e-payments way. So with those e-payments, the cash cow entering in this company, then the company use those cash to do an investment to get the huge number of benefit, even they do not get it, even they do not have to worry about, because they choose that do not have to ride high risk but stable ones to investment. That's why they can get a cash cow, and then because they do not have to worry about how many people use, on the number are really enough to make them finish these things. So when we ensure the value chain, we need to do the value assessment, analyze system to consider about, is that stable or unstable, how it's stable, or how to get the strength in this area. First one, we said the labor first. Those are really, of course, valuable, but not really high, I think, and not very, because everyone can do this. And to simulate to imitable, yes, of course, easy cannot. It's not imitable, the things, and it's really, really easy to get this, even the other companies. And it's actually supported by the organization, so it's kind of competitive partner, and it's just fair for the company because they cannot earn too much money, but they still using it to earn money and capitals. The second one we talk about is using their provide customer source to get the support and discount from the restaurant and the local food industry. Valuable, of course. Usually rarely, because you have to get a huge number of customers. You can get the contact. You can contract with the company and tell them we can do this. And not, it's definitely imitable, and get their support by the organization, but it's a temporary strength, I think. It's when the time's passed, they cannot only use this way to get to earn the capital, and even for the other company, when the other same company grows, they also can get a huge number of customer source to get contact. So it's just a temporary. The last one, I think, it's yes, valuable, rarity, imitable, and gets supported. Of course, all the yes, and stable. Why? Because those customers using their cash everywhere, and they just the customer do not need to spend too much, only like to save, even one people saving 100 yuan, Chinese yuan, in their application, and even they can just use this to investment, get the pay about 0.2% payment. But when the number become really huge, like thousands of people using their using their application, 10,000 or even more, which means they can get more every time when they save the money, when people save the money to their application. So stable and really high profit. So based on those information, I think this company should be a cost leadership company. Low cost because people are really sensitive with the price change. They attention to every time you change your price. So you need to control the delivery fee and the manual fee, how many the people should cost for that. And then it means then it's a low profit thing in this area. But the number are really important. Huge number of customers can make them earn enough money. That's why. And that their target customer are really broad. Everyone just needs them using and know how to use the smartphone. That's enough. Even now, they just focused on the southern of China, but their target customer only need to know how to use smartphone to take an order. It's enough. Really broad. Not even from the age, not that matter, the gender doesn't matter, race doesn't matter, education background doesn't matter. Know how to use it's enough. So I think for sport analyze the strengths, it's just a beginning company, really small, which means they do not have too many of people to run in this company. And then that actually means the people are less, so they can make a decision with less people to talk about. The only few people to talk about. How can they not be the really high efficient to just get an answer for make a decision? For the weakness also, because it's a small company, so they do not have the variety of supplier and enough number of supply to help them satisfaction all the customer demands. But when the time passes, it all can be changed now. For the opportunities, they are focused on Southern China, and the Southern China are really different with the Northern China because those part of people are really focused on the food quality, and they are really like variety of food. That's why this kind of company, even just in the beginning, can be so saved now, because people need someone to send different things to them. That's why. The threat, definitely Meituan and E.me. They are too large, and they have close to the whole market share. So they have to cooperate with those two companies. Even they just say in the small southern area, but they still need to fight with them. So for my suggestion, I think one, they need to consider about do not become burden now. Focus on the southern area, and then Meituan at the EL and ELE.me, they do many of variety things and get many of resource of a supplier. They get many of menu. They have many of supplier. So this company, this get your food company should get contact with some different, like someone do not have their own takeaway service restaurant or their own takeaway service supermarket, to get contact with them, to cooperate with them, send their foods, their items, their goods to the customer. That's one. And two, the time. The other two really good at the time area, so maybe it can really attention to quality area to make sure every time you send stay in a high quality, like the fresh level are really high. Do not broke the cover page. Do not broke the covered things. Do not broke those gifts, those goods. And three, I think they need to consider about to cooperate with local industry, cause LE.me and Meituan do not cooperate with the local industry. The industry means the factory. The factory, you can get those food in factory and just send them to the customer directly without those any other things. Just send them directly. Even it may well spend more time, but it works. Of course, it's a blank market. No one touch this. And then they may shoot to offer some special and added value service, like they should offer party holder service. Like if someone want to celebrate their own party, they can offer the different of restaurants menu to them and send and the transport send them delivery to them at the time they ordered. They booked the time and the location. That kind of service are really high quality and make other people can be loyalty with this company, because no one do that before in China. So that's my suggestion and analyze. Thanks for your listen and watch.